Oh, you're leaving?
Some of you are first in one.
Yep.
Nice to meet
Thank you
you,
very much.
Carolyn.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for your time for coming in.
Well, it's been fun. It's been fun. Appreciate the opportunity. Did you work on the mansion house? Oh, okay. Gorgeous building. Okay. Do you miss it? No. Life changes when God does, and we're not doing the same thing. Take over the world on the East Coast. Yeah. That's great. That whole thing, isn't it? I know, and you may know him from the Little Farmers Market. And he's been growing hemp for about how many years now, maybe before people, I mean, we're talking about what a farmers do, you grow it. And I used to talk to him a lot about people I knew in other cities that they have products. Because he was, more in the growing stage, knowing something big was coming. Tony Weiss. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Well, he did.
Calvin, how you feeling?
And he is doing better, but he also makes
Same.
me very blind. Let me sneak into it.
All right, so I think we're gonna keep rolling here. Stay on track. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Good evening. I am Kelvin L. Thompson, your cannabis business motivational counselor, serving your local areas with personal counseling, advocacy for what we know as marijuana abuse. Going through a brief history, there are many benefits to cannabis, and there are potential harms. Individuals can suffer from respiratory shortness of breath, coughing, bronchial cloggings, mucus, and wheezing. This may interfere with your memory also. It may affect your ability to randomly pull words out of your mind instantaneously. High dosages may result in hallucination, paranoia, and not knowing your location if you're known to be schizophrenic. Many ways to cope with this problem would be to balance your usage through activities. We would teach people how to limit their usage if they smoke daily, or if they use topicals, edibles, vaping, or if they smoke regularly. We would advise them to, every other day. If they do it every other day, then we would advise them to do it probably once a week, because of it's taking effect on them, because they're acting schizo or scared or something out of the norm. So you got to know your limits. There are many different methods to enjoy a state of euphoria. There is a video here. Maybe not. Anyway, moving around along. Avoid driving. Avoid speaking to people or being around people who speak too much, asking too much unnecessary questions. Stay focused. Alternatively, meditation and yoga can be a way to escape from others' influences. Another way to use to centralize your brain, your mind, your body, balance, and concentration. We could also bring in a yoga master who teaches the basic principles on yoga and meditation, and preferably Egyptian yoga. I'm familiar with it, but you could also search up asana yoga. These yogas can be beneficial. The philosophic principles of Kemetic yoga places emphasis on rejuvenation of the entire body, mind, and not just your physical body, but developing your muscles, your flexibility, and ancient Egyptian yoga also helps to maintain your parasympathetic nervous system and your synthetic nervous systems, which will work together to help you cope with and respond to your daily life. Control. Click. Thank you. Needed that. Here's a video of a basic.
Then we have our set with the throw on the top of her head. I could say like I could do a whole lecture just talking about our set. But see, if you see at the top of her head, she has a throw, and she's in a yoga pose. All of these positions that you see the ancestors doing, these were yoga positions. Okay, and they had certain physiological and bioenergetic effects upon the mind, the body, and the internal energy systems. And that throne represents the fact that all authority comes from you.
So as you can see here, it says it's healing, metaphysical, magicianal, like magetic, self-creator, nutria, and it's like make you found like a foundation. So as you can see, the history of the ancient Egyptians, some of us didn't know they were doing yoga back then, and Cannabaceae grew in Asia in those times, so they were familiar with the culture as well. At the facility, well, we would like to have a facility, but at the facility, we were supposed to have areas where there would be topicals such as smoking, vaping, dabbing, hash oils, edible, recreational refreshments. During the refreshments, we would advise you to strengthen your mind, body, and spirit after work or school. I was supposed to take out the school part because it's misleading for people underage. So if I say school, a lot of people might think I'm trying to get at younger kids to get high. But it's really about meditation and motivation. You don't have to just get high all the time. You could watch stoner movies. It might have the same kind of effect because it'll be in your brain. You might think, you might watch something like Half Baked and imagine that you're David Chappelle at the moment. You could listen to music. We provide social conversation and dialogue. Alone time is the moment when you enjoy yourself, feeling socially accepted. Euphoric, and you get this euphoric after meditation. You feel lighter and you feel free. So it's a enhancement to your meditative feeling. After you leave there, you don't have to drive yourself. You could also get the Uber friendly or family member to be listed as a transportation for you from one place to your destination. Be aware DUIW, driving while under the influence of weed, is a new law in the neighboring country, Canada. So don't drive high. Your life can change in an instant. The fast fact about drug impaired, DID, drug impaired driving. So this could really affect your life. Doing this, getting high and jumping behind the wheel, or even taking edibles or dog treats or whatever you may have. Because even if you have CBD dog treats, it's cannabis based, so it might look like a dog treat, but somebody could actually take it and feel the same effect off of it. So driving high can reduce your ability to make instant decisions. Most individuals are easily distracted by cell phones that cause people to take their eye off the road into a car accident. In Canada, there's new legislation similar to such as drinking and driving. Our duty is to make people aware and find the level of information to keep people safe, meditated, and motivated. And I had put this thing together also because I didn't have as much material. So here's a little history. Cannabis sativa hemp, species of Cannabaceae family. Cannabis has many uses: recreational, medicinal, and you could have like textiles, fibers, fabric, rope, oils, gas, resinous secretion compounds that have similar structures as THC are known as cannabinoid stimulants. And for recreational, dried leaves can be rolled, smoked in a pipe, even vape, consumed edibles, forms of pastries and vitamins. So that's a little history of what they do with the plant. And for the people who like getting high, are you afraid of getting caught? Are you afraid to be yourself? Are you feeling insane? Are people telling you that you're crazy getting high? You won't get nowhere in life for getting high. You don't have to do it. You can meditate and feel just as well. Again, that's what I would like to be, a cannabis business motivational counselor, serving the local area or on call, giving cannabis counseling, and this one would play because it's in the PowerPoint.
You were just attacked. That's right. About 4 a.m., the printing press of our Hong Kong edition was.
It is an historic day in Michigan. Recreational marijuana now officially on sale. There are 3 shops in Ann Arbor licensed and started selling at 10 this morning. People camped out in tents overnight, hoping to be among the very first to buy. Our Victor Williams was in Ann Arbor this morning, where people from all around the region came to Ann Arbor to buy pot.
Yes, it's official. You can now buy plenty of this stuff, recreational marijuana, legally. And it's an attraction that's bringing in customers from all over. Dozens lined up in front of exclusive dispensary in Ann Arbor Sunday morning to usher in a new era when it comes to marijuana in the state of Michigan.
It's a momentous occasion. I mean, you think about it, this is awesome.
And it's a moment that Ahmad Ismail has been waiting for since his mid-20s.
I'm so happy to see it happen. People that have care issues, people that just want to enjoy it recreationally. It's a long time coming.
Some even camped out over 10 hours just to be the first customers in the new world of legal weed.
Exclusive.
However, not every city is on board. Metro Detroit and others have opted out of allowing the recreational sale to take place altogether.
These cities that are outlawing, it's sort of silly because the motion's happening. And people are going to get it where they have to go.
But considering the amount of customers that showed up opening day, there's a chance that's probably going to change in the near future. In Ann Arbor, Victor Williams, Local 4.
Now, there is a 10% excise tax on recreational marijuana, also with the state's 6% sales tax. The state believes that sales will be in the hundreds of millions of dollars in the first year. For a look at the rules on how you can buy, the shops that can sell, and the communities opting out of recreational marijuana, just visit our webpage. Click on Detroit.com.
Okay. I didn't speak about it earlier, but there's a proposed diagnosis of
Illinois became the 11th state to legalize recreational cannabis.
syndrome.
Good news for hometown cultivator Cresco Labs. Alexis Keenan had a chance to walk through the company's fully vertical operation just outside Chicago. Let's take a look.
See ya. Where was I? Right here. So the people that smoke all day and every day, they have cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome where they just throw up a lot. You know, so they could just be high off of smoking or something, and then they just stop and throw up their whole guts. So this could be a problem. So I would take the position of a psychiatrist, so to speak, investigating, diagnosing, and treating mental emotional behavior. We focus on mental disorders, normally trained as a cannabis doctor, but only categorized as a human service professional that can provide advice only. There's another video. I don't want to saturate it with too much videos. But alternatively, we spoke about meditation and yoga, the benefits of yoga. I didn't really speak on alcohol, but we did, based on, them treating marijuana as how they treated drunk driving. Because they don't really have too many tests, so they don't have too much tests, so they're going back to like ancient tests of people, their sensories, if they can't walk straight, or if they can't look at a pen that's going left and right, or if you can't you could say your alphabet straight forward, but you might not know it backwards. You didn't learn it that way, but that's one of the exercises they use for alcohol, people that are intoxicated. So these are the limits, and there are 2 prohibited levels of THC. The primary psychoactive components of cannabis is less serious offense and have 2 nanograms, 5 nanograms of THC per milliliter of blood. It is more serious offense than to have 5 nanograms of THC or more per milliliters of blood in your blood. So if you combine these 2, you could go to jail. You might have a little more control in here with the THC, but mixing them, it could have a real bad chemical effect. And there's facilities. I don't own one, but there's growing facilities around. But at the facility that I'm talking about, where I will be doing the advocacy, the refreshments, as we spoke of, was like, the topicals and stuff, but for safe reasons during the refreshment, advice on strengthening your body, your mind, and your spirit at these times of the day. Age appropriate people, there might be some movies you could watch, and be aware of your surroundings at all times. Helping as a motivation cannabis advocate counselor, I would help people make options, choices, and solutions. Preventative choices, encouraging cognitive and behavioral changes. Developing goals and objectives that contribute to healthy lifestyles. Rehabilitation cannabis counselor will help clients make a realistic estimate of limits imposed upon them. At this point, we would review the client's experience, initiate some form of contact with them, make observations, communicate. We try to get family members involved. If you're on opiates or if you're drinking alcohol, we would suggest CBD can be used as illegal, and it helps medicinally as a safe alternative replacement for opiates. Requirements to be an advocate: graduate training, 2-year graduate program, including behavioral science, cultural and psychological aspects of cannabis, certified from the Commission on Rehabilitation Counselor Certification. Also, a counselor who wishes to apply for the license here in the Empire State must meet both educational and supervised training requirements. As a rule, New York rehabilitation counselors become licensed mental health counselors, LMHC. You can find detailed information about academic and practical training requirements below. So, education coursework, licensed mental health counseling candidates, New York State, 60 graduate level credits before they can apply for the licensure. Complete a program determined by the New York State Education Department equivalent to an accredited curriculum like we are taking here. because this is horticulture is accredited curriculum, so we all can be counselors, and that's what I'm here for, to help, support, advise, guide, and assist.
Question,
Yes.
where are your clients coming from? Target market in this business?
That's a good question. Maybe someone would advise them to me, because I'm just getting off, I'm just starting, so maybe advice, or maybe social media. I could put out my business spiel, visit local cannabis talks, and give my service there. People that I know is abusive to it, I can probably talk to them myself.
Remember the handout that I brought? Take a look at it again,
Okay.
because you wanna start to think about who the audience is.
Mhm.
So you're talking to someone specifically and about what they're gonna wanna be listening for, and what the level is that they understand or don't. But also, if you're in business, a lot of people get started in businesses, but they don't think about who needs their business,
Right.
or who else is providing that same business.
People that's abusing marijuana.
Well, there's a lot of people like that, but how do you find them? And are you doing something
They're
different
probably
than somebody
they're probably
else?
at the facility, jail facilities, or
Well, that's a
Yeah.
good thing, but think about where the people might come from, and who are those people you think you could be most help to?
working class people.
What other businesses might you partner up with to get referrals?
Working class people and adults.
But you gotta figure out where are those working class people and adults, cause they're all over the place.
That's right.
And you gotta start with a focus again on.
It's kind of hard to find the demographic right now as of to be an advocate for marijuana. For one, it's not legal, and I just try to take another route.
That's okay,
I
but
don't
think about you
wanna
could be
feel
in
like,
a
I'm
community organization.
right. I don't want to
that
feel
might
like
have some
I'm
extra need.
right. I don't want to feel like I'm being, like just because I'm dressed with a hoodie and, I got dreadlocks or whatever, like I'm this big weed dealer, So just to erase the, I would just like to, people that take pride in their work, but they don't feel free as being themselves. Like to motivate and counsel them.
I think that we get what you wanna do,
Mhm.
but I want you to really think about where might the people that you would choose to be helpful to be.
Okay.
How you find them. It doesn't matter if this is legal or it isn't.
Right.
You're still visualizing the whole plan. And the plan includes, who do you work with? One of the biggest mistakes people make when they start in business is they offer the kitchen sink,
Right.
everything to everybody, and you cannot set a business up that way. That's the quickest way to fail. So you wanna really fine tune it.
Right.
And see yourself sitting down with somebody, and where might they have come to you from?
Right. Okay.
Calvin, I have just an overall comment. It didn't seem as though you wanted to have an office, place of business. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I spoke about a facility, but I didn't talk about a specific
So what you
office.
need to do then is, as she is suggesting, is you partner up with the people that are in your industry, like the yoga studios. Most of the yoga places have other rooms that they rent out to very specific people, 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week. And you set your appointments up to use their facility, and you can advertise on their boards that they have at the front of all their doors, your service. Because you're providing a service that is very much linked with yoga. And perhaps maybe even yoga might be your vehicle into it. Get a certificate as a yoga teacher. There's licensing certificates that are issued like through the Himalayan Institute. You can do a 100-hour, 200-hour, or a 500-hour course. And then you're licensed to practice and teach yoga, or to work in an existing yoga studio as an advisory for a specific thing, whether it's an illness, or it's chiropractic work, or massage work, or just somebody that's giving people guidance and assistance. think you got a real good niche right there.
Thank you.
And the industry's already out there, you don't have to reinvent it, you
Right.
just need to fit into it.
Thanks.
Do you work with any of the local yoga studios? Do you take
I
care?
haven't, and I know that they have some yoga stuff that they do at the school.
Start there.
Yeah, I might have
Meet
to
the
get that into
teachers.
my
They'll
schedule.
introduce you. University of Buffalo has a big program.
Yeah, they do.
And it's a growing business that could really work well with what you're thinking about doing.
A lot of the churches are starting to offer special programs that are more life skills and things like yoga classes. And it's a matter of beginning to, again, focus on who you wanna work with, and then getting out there and introducing yourself to network with all these different places. And the more you talk to the people and see their environment, the more you're gonna get a hit in your stomach, which is the right match.
Okay.
I'm gonna say as well, I really like what my fellow colleagues here said, but at the same time, you really do have a great idea. I think there is a huge niche market. What I appreciate is the fact that coming from Canada, there is this other side, because a lot of people are looking to these sorts of markets as another quick fix. I think that you've provided a very realistic picture of the fact that there are alternatives.
Yeah.
And that's where that niche is the fact that there's going to always be, we're a Puritan society in North America, so there will always be this stigma that this is evil, that there's something wrong with it, and so there's another way to balance out that equation. I think that's very, very good, a very good spot to. I wish my father was taking yoga. I was gonna say, just one story. Horticulturally speaking, you spoke a lot about the yoga and so on, but no one said so far gardening included in that.
Okay.
It's another great industry. It's like, where are we right now? Field folks, right? Because horticulture as a whole is another medium that helps balance out exactly what you're saying there. I'll say the opposite. My father couldn't wait for me to be able to cut the grass instead of doing it. My father has a history of not mental health, but physical health issues that they couldn't find a solution to. As soon as they went to medicinal marijuana, when it became the occasional, my father cut down a 30-year-old maple tree to grow 4 more pot plants.
Wow.
My dad's never been happier. so horticulturally, I was mortified. But I think there's balances, there's checks and balances, and I really do like what you presented.
Thank you.
I have one more question. And you didn't address this in your presentation, so I'll ask it. Why would I give you money? What do you need the money for?
To reach people, you know, it's for the people. It's not just for me, it's for them.
Add a little more specific. How are you gonna reach the people?
I'm work on the specific crowd that I have to communicate with them, you know, take those necessary routes, whether if it's setting an office up at a yoga facility or learning more about reaching people that's into meditation stuff, and gradually, you know, move on to something bigger, better, futuristic.
I think if you were, think about this and come up with a list of things that you would need money to do. Buy a computer, develop business cards, provide transportation for people, whatever it is, but give your plan of action a dollar sign to go with it.
Right.
Because otherwise people are like, well, why do I need to invest in that? Because, well, the yoga studios are already there. But if you put together the plan where you bring the yoga studio or the practice of yoga into the individual's home even, that's how I got started in it. I had an instructor come to my house because I was physically incapable of leaving the house. So if you can provide the motivation for people who want your guidance and your assistance, and that's where your money is gonna go in developing those step-by-step. Here's how I'm gonna do it, here's the facility I need to do it, here's the people I need to promote it, and I need this much money to get that going.
Right.
Follow me on that?
Yep.
Yeah, and just to wrap up, because we have to get moving, really great. I think the general feedback is that you have so much raw material, you really just need to whittle it down to what supports your cause. think about it, again, like Reggie said in the previous class, of you presenting a bill to the universe, right? So you have your cost itemized, you have your directive, and basically then the rest falls into play. But well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.